Alright, so hey everybody, welcome to another Pocket Beats video, and this one is about creating complicated or interesting melodies with an OPZ, even if you don't know anything about music theory, which is someone like me. So first I'm going to play a track that I've been working on, and then I'm going to kind of deconstruct it and see if I can explain some of the really interesting magic that this little box is doing. So here we go. That was the 8-bar sequence that this thing goes for. I'm on the master track right now, and what that's allowing us to do is kind of, is it transpose, I think? Everything else that's been played for each of these little sections. So it's like we got 8 bars long on this master track, so it's 2 bars, then another 2 bars, it sort of changes here, right? I could change it to anything. I could go up here. And I believe the lit up keys, where it's trying to explain, that would fit what you already have. So they kind of sort of work together. You have to experiment a little bit if you're someone like me who doesn't really know what you're doing to get something that sounds good. But that's what's going on in the master track, so if I actually turn that off right now, so I've got my little tracks, I don't know, mixer, and I turn off master track, there's just all this one kind of constant drone, so there's no progression. So one thing I like doing is creating something that's pretty interesting with no progression yet, and then bring in the master track and play around with these keys to figure out something to make it have a little more of a long-term flow instead of just like a kind of repetitive loop. So what about the other tracks? What are we going on? Let's take the drums out for a second. In fact, let's go back to just, here we've got bass. The bass is just playing this one note here. That's it. Now, if I put that master track back on, this one, it'll start having a progression again. See? And then that's also affecting our little, was this like a lead? I don't know. But this is playing a chord. This is playing here, here, and here. And once again, if I turn off that master track, we get just this kind of drone, right? Okay. Now the more interesting part with this kind of like overlapping rhythmic melody polyrhythm thing, whatever we're going to call it, is on this guy, the chord track, which I guess I'm not using to play chords. I don't know why the red lights are flashing. Sorry, I can't explain that one yet. But let's listen to that for a second. This guy. See what I've kind of punched in here, but you can hear that the downbeat is kind of misaligned. Like if I bring the drums back in, if I start this, it should start here, right, on beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and then it comes back. Okay, so why is that happening? You can see when it gets to here and here, I added this little, I think it's like a multiplier. So on these 2 keys with the shift key, this guy is telling it to play these guys 3 times, I think. If I turn that off, now it should play kind of in time again. It won't have that kind of weird sort of overlapping complexity, which I think is cool, but how does that sound? Every time it's just on 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now that's fine, it's a little more conventional, isn't it? It's a little more like, oh, it sounds a bit more like normal music. But I think the magic of this box is making weird music. So, if I bring the master track back in, we'll have that progression again. Okay. Alright, now, when we talked about that kind of making it not line up each time effect, that polyrhythmic effect, we can do that in other ways as well. So the little multiplier does it. So if I select, I don't know, this time this note, and go every time you get to them, play it 3 times. This is even better than what I had, I think. I like this even better. And you know, this kind of thing, when you take the master track out, it gets pretty boring, doesn't it? I think the really important thing about having these slightly mismatched loop lengths is that the master track gives it some structure back. Like, this is a little bit too chaotic, isn't it? But as soon as we've got this kind of, like, you know, every 2 bars, the progression shifts. It doesn't matter if that little melody on the chord track is, like, misaligned, because we're expecting this change, right? Every 2 bars. Change. And so that's kind of comforting. But onto the other way that we can do these little shifts. So I go back to this track. We've still got these like little multipliers. This time, I'm gonna take off all of the stuff that's on them. What's on you? There's like a little shift up and something else. Now there's just nothing here, right? But if I select the track button and then shift, now I can affect how long this sequence goes for, so it could be like 4 bars. 1. Now, I don't know about that. I'm gonna go back to 1 here. It's got a little more bounce to it, but right now it's going through all of these 16 subdivisions of this bar of music. But we don't have to do that. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, for example. And we start to get this kind of like, again, funky little polyrhythmic melody thing, which I think is really fun. But then you kind of explore with like what works for different tracks. So, what if we tried, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now again, if I took that master track off, this would sound too chaotic to me. Here we go, off. It like draws your attention to that misaligned polyrhythmic melody thing, and you get a little tired of like, your ears are like really trying to line it up, you know, but as soon as you put this back on, it's like, it gives you something a little more comfortable to focus on. So there's a combination of those 2 things that works really well, I think. But I think it's almost time to wrap up this video. What I might try, just for a second, is I'll just take these drums out, and what if we do something atrocious to this master track? Instead of that being such a long thing, so it's 8 bars long, right? Let's make it 4. Now it's going to change every bar. But I believe I can still mess with this length as well. So what if we just cut off a little bit? It's going to get to here. compression on that. That's not really, it's not really the most comfortable feel at all, is it? But again, if you wanted to make some kind of weird little breakdown section in a track, maybe combine that with like the tape track for a second. If I like make the tape track not affect the drums and make it like a length of 3, and then bring back in the drums, then go to the tape track and then kind of mess with. Whoa, hey buddy. Gotta get that pitch back. Sorry about that. We get some kind of cool sounds out of this. Yeah, okay, we got something there. Maybe go for like a... Maybe play with a pitch. Don't do that. And then I think 3 tends to just work the best for this. That's kind of a sweet spot there. And the reason I didn't want to make the drums affected by the tape track is because we'd get... It's kind of a bit too much, but you can let the beat sit underneath it. That's a shift key here. Whatever's yellow is affected. Whatever else isn't. It's kind of nice. Can kind of... Don't do that. Alright. So, undo a bit of damage here. Where are we going? We're going back to our master track. We're setting that back to an 8-bar length thing. Okay, cool. Almost better. Come back to this little kind of main part. Holding the track, holding shift. Giving it back its kind of comfortable length. And then what I really liked was the kind of little multiplier around, was it here and here? Put this one and this one with a little 2-dot guy for 3. And then, I think these guys are a little pitch shifting up and down kind of thing. So we'll go like here and here. There's like a little pitch down maybe. And then we have something kind of cool, I think. Then maybe just like... put it in the background a little bit. And then we have it. Take the drums out. It's just kind of, again, the sound I think that this device encourages is these kind of odd overlapping rhythms and melodies that using any kind of, I don't know, computer software or other groove boxes, I think is difficult. Or at least I haven't like run into anything like this where there's so much easy access to really interesting, I think, almost like mathematical music. You know, in fact, like, just before I finish this video, like, the fact that there's these, like, random triggering options and stuff is so crazy. So I select maybe U first 3 notes, and I think it's this one, and I press 9, and then they're, like, only gonna happen at random times, like it won't play them each time. Do the same with these. voice. Yeah, so there we go. Well, I hope this video has made some helpful contribution to what you might already know or be curious about with this thing that I've been enjoying making music with over the last couple of months. And again, like the really big point here is, if you don't really understand music theory, haven't studied it, and maybe you're like me, you're very like rhythmically minded, but not very melodically minded, then this is like the perfect, I don't know, assistant in like being able to create music that's otherwise way beyond, I think, your capabilities. But you know, you get to be creative in the process. It's really cool. Again, master track off. This is where I start. I just make something like monotone yet rhythmically, and perhaps with enough little up and down waviness in the melody that once I apply some master track, it turns into something that sounds like someone with much more skill than I has created. Does this work? There we go, yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little video. It's been a while since I did some kind of tutorial, and I'm sorry it wasn't so organized, but that's going to take me a little while to get to with this piece of gear. Anyway, thank you so much for watching another Pocket Beats video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, and bye.